Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, we're going to start it here in a minute. Just going to make sure everybody gets a chance to get logged in and made a panelist. So tonight we're going to talk about listings again. And thanks to Kendra, we have a new token code to put on the GIA in the GIA resources tab where you can clone marketing campaigns that we put out there. So this is a new construction campaign. I think it's for listings from what I remember, but we're going to talk about that specifically, give you an update on what Gina's up to with Ron Williams and the Hoodle program. They're actively working on it. Just like everything else in the world, it's always a work in progress. But the key is to focus on listings and how you get them, and what do you say and things like that. If Bonetta's on, I'm going to have her speak a little bit because she really landed a big one, a big whale recently, using AI, using ChatGPT, using AI on that. So we're going to talk about that, all related to getting listings, and we will start that in probably less than 1 minute. But does anybody have any questions, anything you wanted to ask about or get help with before we start on tonight's subject? Transaction-wise.
Why is Indeed.com such a pain in the behind?
Why is what?
Indeed.com.
Oh, let me tell you. Yep, everybody goes through that. But once you do, it's one of those things, once you get through the gauntlet, it is well worth it. It'll save you so much time, So,
yeah, when I registered as business owner.
Yeah.
Now they want me to provide, all this documentation. I told them, I said, listen, I'm a real estate agent. I'm a sole proprietor.
Yeah.
I'm not incorporated, and that's how I choose to run my business.
Yeah. So, yeah. We'll probably actually I just met with Beverly earlier. So we're coming out with an updated set of instructions. We'll be covering all that. Probably not tonight, but could be next week. Stuff like that generally we'll usually cover on the monthly team calls. But in any case, that's one system. They really make it work for it, and once you get it figured out, it really works. So in any case, let's go ahead and get started here, guys. First thing is for any of you who have friends and family out in Hawaii, prayers go out to you. I was speaking with Lisa. I think Lisa's on tonight. Hey, Lisa. Lisa Sears is on, and she used to live out there and has, lots of contacts out there. And if you've seen the news, it just, we've all seen natural disasters, but that one, to see a whole town like that, just wiped out. It's unbelievable. So I'm sure there's ways to give through Salvation Army and Goodwill and things like that. So whatever you can be able to do, I know there's people. They wiped out. Not cars, houses, just gone. Pets, not to mention some
100%.
lives.
There's a whole list of places not to donate right now, so be really careful.
Oh, okay.
I just got an alert 30 minutes ago with from some of the locals. They're saying don't give to these certain areas because it's not getting distributed. Go this direction. So just be careful.
Okay. So just Google it and what about?
While we're sitting here and while I'm listening, I'll look at a couple of them and I'll throw one or two up that are good.
Yeah, it's really unusual because I don't really watch the news much at all, but I did watch tonight to get caught up on it. And I know the investigators have to do their job, but normally you see Salvation Army there, you see the National Guard, and I'm not seeing any of that. I see police not letting people in, but it's just like they've got it completely blocked off. I've been involved in floods before, and they let us in. I was here to help, and I have my credentials, but this it looks like, Lisa, they're not letting anybody in.
No, and I'm supposed to be there. So I'm just glad that I didn't get burned up.
Yeah.
My brother his house is safe.
Wow.
But this is it's turning into a really big problem, and it's turning into a big land grab. And these people are going to lose their land, and it's really, really awful. So,
Yeah.
and the town is, how do you rebuild something that's historical? One of the buildings that I was looking at, because I'm from there, one of the buildings I was looking at, built in 1830. I mean, everything there was historical and ancestral. And
And the rules out there, for those of you who don't know, never been there or practiced real estate there like Lisa has, every state says, well, we're different. Believe me, there's about 4 states that really are different. It's Washington State, North Carolina, Illinois, and Hawaii. It's definitely different. I mean, the way they transact real estate businesses, it's not like you do here in the mainland. So, Lisa, if you want to look up, find something there, just post it in the chat box or let me know when you're ready, okay? All right.
I put something in.
Okay, thanks, Kay. Well, we love you, Lisa. Okay. Now let's do this. Let's see, Rolling. I'm not sure. Let me check the chat. I'll hold on the chat for a second. Let's get started here. First things first, there is a token code, and let me grab that for you in my email, and I'll post it in the chat box. The token code is for another marketing campaign. So Beverly and the operations people are building that out. Let's see. I'm going to find it here in un momento. Here it is. So if you guys want to, this is going to be, we're going to put this in the email tomorrow. Okay. It goes out the day after every class. And we're going to build an actual campaign around it so that you can have, with instructions the whole 9 yards. Okay. So here is the token code. For those of you who have not cloned a campaign yet before, especially if you're new or relatively new to the team, don't worry about this right now. We'll cover it in one-on-ones. In fact, I'll just go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to show you guys how you actually do the cloning. So you go to the website, okay, and hopefully this will load up quickly here. I've got it figures. And McAfee, I guess if I don't answer them, for Rick and Web Advisor, friends and friend, I don't even know what that is. I'm going to put 0. Okay. Now let's get this out of there. Come on, McAfee. Hey, Rob, can I ask you a favor?
Me, Rob?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you bring up our team website? I want to have you share your screen. I've got this stupid McAfee thing, and I can't.
Gary, if you go to the bottom of your screen.
Yep.
Okay, let me bring back Zoom here. And you see there's a little, on your bottom of the screen, the third icon from the right.
Yep.
See it? If you right click on that.
Yep.
The very bottom, straight down from your cursor.
Okay. Where it says,
that's the McAfee thing. You should be able to right click on it and close it.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right there. That's not.
Yeah, that's just. Yeah, I think this is separate. I was messing with that before. I think this is separate from that.
Try up there. Try at the very top where it says, "We'd love your feedback." See the little X there on the right.
Yep, it's unclickable.
Just do a Control-Alt-Delete and then end task on McAfee. Control.
Yep, there you go. That's right. I forgot about that. Control Alt Delete
Task manager, and then just in the task.
Task Manager. And let's see, where is McAfee?
You click at the top of the list and alphabetize the stuff.
Good Lord. Look at that.
All the stuff you have running. Wow.
Yeah. I tell you, Rob, go ahead and bring it up because I don't want to take, this will take minutes for me to get through all this. So look at all these McAfee things. I'm going to try to at least end that one. It's still not ending. There's a bunch of them. So, and some of them have sub-levels too.
If they're all in the same folder, you can just click the lead one at the bottom. You say, like it'll say end task or close tree or something like that. And the tree will close it all.
Okay. Right. So we got it. Go ahead and log into the members area, Rob.
Yeah, I've already, okay, let me see here. Remember login. Let me minimize this thing.
Okay.
Do. There we are. Where are we going?
Go to GIA resources. Okay. Then click on KV Core marketing campaigns. Okay. So for everybody who's relatively new, we probably haven't covered this. I mean, I know we were in here probably a week or two ago, but without actually discussing it. These are campaigns that you can clone. And the way you clone them is this token code. You copy that. And then again, for those of you, either Rob or I is going to show you around in KV Core. And when you go to create a campaign there or add a campaign, we'll show you where to insert or paste that token code. So Rob, if you want to scroll down and we'll show them a few more. So right there's a whole menu of them. Wholesaling campaign, rental profits, agent attraction, flipping prospects, opportunity campaign. So these are all campaigns you can clone in KV Core that either we've created or we got somewhere else. So you're going to see a new one here using a token code I just put in the chat box a moment ago. And then the operations folks are going to add that to this panel. So beyond that, you don't have to worry about it right now. Tonight, the purpose was not tonight to go into that new campaign and explore it and load it and all that. I just want to show you where these are so you know where to find them, and you'll know that this new one will be out there probably in a matter of days. So in any case, since we're on the subject, let's go ahead and talk about new construction. So Gina's working with Ron Williams. For those of you who might not remember or weren't here yet, Ron Williams taught a class for us in April 2022. He has a program called Hoodle, HOODLE. And you can opt to be a member of Hoodle. Now, Ron's wife is on our team. Okay, and I'll give you the big connection here in a minute. So pretty good guy. He's got a great program. He's operating in 115 cities and towns now. So Gina is now helping him more full time because he doesn't have the background that Gina and I have in launching these types of things. So we think it's so important that she's going to be devoting more of her time to him. And as you might imagine, he's going to be bringing in a lot of agents, he and his wife. So it's worth it for us to do that. Plus, it's a worthwhile program. When you consider how short we are in housing units in the country right now, some estimates as high as 7 million housing units were short. This is a necessary service for the consumer. And as a realtor, obviously you can participate in the new construction, right? So in any case, that's why we're doing what we're doing. It's sort of like the divide and conquer. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. And what Hoodle does, by the way, it gets you another website that you can use to attract people who want to build a new home. They want to do new construction. And when you do that, it helps you attract the local builders. We don't actually try to get the big national builders like Horton. We're not playing that game. We just go for the local community focused builders, local builders, right? And then we show them what we have, and then they're in a business to build homes. We bring in the clients, and you guys get the commission. And the consumer gets a brand new home. The builder gets to make a lot of money. Everybody's happy. If you want to write this down, if you're really interested in this subject, the key is for you to find the land. Okay. And we can use ReallyFlow to find the land. So in any case, if we have time, we'll go into details on that, but I didn't want to really, I just wanted to introduce it and let you know what's coming down the road here. So in any case, while we're on the website, Rob, if you could go back one level, you can see, go back to, there you go. If you scroll down where it says scripts and you click on that, okay, you'll see in here there's all kinds of scripts. Each one of these links is a link to one or many scripts, okay? So if you look at these, you can go through these, top to bottom, left and right. There's commission handling things, there's FSBO scripts, expire scripts. I highly recommend you print off these scripts, particularly for FSBOs, which is for sale by owner, and expires, okay? Now, I'm trying to think, it was Brittany Taylor had a lead today come in, someone who wants to really do her for sale by owner, but they want to still use Brittany to do the work. And as you might imagine, the consumer's request was, would you do her for 1%?
No.
Yeah. And well, the thing is for the veterans, raise your hand or just type in a chat box if you ever had a consumer ask you, hey, can you do it for 1%? We've all had that. And when it first happens, though, if you remember what that felt like, it's kind of disheartening, So Brittany did the right thing. She texted me and I gave her two things to say. So why don't we go over those? Okay. So let's say, for example, you're working with a FSBO for sale by owner, and they agree to speak with you. We're talking about how you actually get to that point in a minute here. And their big objection is, yes, they want to sell their house. They just don't want to pay the commission. They don't want to pay an average of 6%. So they ask you to either do it for free, do it for 1%, do it for half off, do it for 3%, you keep 2 and give the buyer's agent 1, or vice versa. None of those things really work. And here's why. It takes time, money, and energy to sell a house. As a real estate agent, you have to deploy some of your resources, and some of those resources cost money. So for example, think about, if you guys want to write this down, this is a great exercise. Think about all the things that you pay for on a monthly and an annual basis, right? You pay your MLS dues, you pay your board dues, you pay your E&O insurance on every transaction, and every transaction you don't ever keep 100% of it. I shouldn't say that. You actually can keep 100% after a certain point, but you pay splits out of that, right? You pay broker review fees. And if you've capped, you pay a transaction cap fee. You also pay for Facebook ads and everything you're doing marketing wise. So nothing you do is free. Everything costs money. And that's just what you're paid out today to list and sell the property. What about all the time and energy and money you put into having a real estate business, right? You took classes, you had to spend time, energy, and money paying for the classes, studying for the classes, paying for and taking exams, paying for and getting your license set up. All that took time, energy, and money. So what I want you to remember, or please write this down, is your value is not just tied up in how much money you spent so far. Your value is really tied up in the time you put into doing this. Look at all the time you put into just getting your license. If you're in a state like Texas or California, or even a country like Canada, you're going to spend, in Canada, it's like 235 hours of licensing hours. Did you guys know that? In some states, it's only 60 hours, 70 hours. I think, let's see, Texas, I think, is 185 hours or something like that. So your time is worth a lot of money. Remember, when someone wants you to go show a house, you're generally going to leave your family for the evening or the afternoon, right? And if you have small children or parents you care for, kind of a big deal. So I learned after a couple of years of getting frustrated, when people would ask me to take a cut, I would remind them of all those things I'm paying for and all that it took for me to be able to sell that person's house. All the years of experience, that experience is worth a lot of money. Well, you know what was worth the most money? And I would tell some people that were persistent, I would tell them this. I would say, the reality is I've got 2 small children. If you want to take me away from my small children on a Sunday afternoon when I can be going swimming with them, it's going to cost you a lot of money because I'm worth it and so are my kids. And I actually said that. Had a frustration. And it worked, So
That's
in any case, yeah. So I want to ask
so with my kids, that's great.
Yep. I mean, and that's the first one, and I'm going to open up for Q&A here in a second. Here's the other one. And this is if I was, in a calm state of mind and I could remember to say this, I would respond and say, you know what? I'm gathering that you're really, money is tight for you right now. You're on a tight budget, or you probably wouldn't be asking me this. So here's what I like to do. I'm willing to always do my part to help my neighbors. Are you willing to ask the lender who's going to make a loan for someone who's trying to buy your house? Or if you're a buyer, going to help you get the money to buy your house. The lawyer involved with doing the closing, the title searcher, the inspector who's going to do the inspection on the property, the appraiser who's going to appraise the property. Your tax accountant, when you go see them at the end of the year to make sure this is part of your tax filing. Are you willing to go around a table and ask all of them to kick in 1%, because I'll kick in 1%, if they all do that? And I would say it with a smile. I wouldn't say it with a smart attitude. But that's what I would do. And almost always, nobody would ever say yes. They're not going to ask all those people to take a cut in their pay, And I didn't say this, but the obvious conclusion is, why would they only ask you if they're not asking all these other people? So in any case, you're going to get this, guys, a good bit, because right now it's still a seller's market. In other words, the sellers hold the cards and the buyers are, still competing offers, and of course interest rates have gone up too. But I want to ask if anybody has any other, what we call objection handler to that request to cut your pay. So feel free to grab the mic or just type in the chat box or raise your hand, and I'll know to call on you. Fortunately, I'm watching Rob's screen, so I can't change my screen to see if you're raising your hand. Micah McGran, website moving slow tonight. For some reason, everything's moving slow tonight. Thanks, Mike. Now, let me check the chat box here real quick. Thanks, Lisa. Hey, guys, Lisa put in the link. It's hawaiicommunityfoundation.org, right, /Maui Strong. So if you look at that, I'm going to post it one more time here. And we'll post it at the end also. There you go. Every now and then something happens and we actually have a direct impact right on the team here. So we obviously have that. So thanks, Lisa, for sharing that. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go back up here. Brittany. Oh, this is Brittany Taylor. She said they originally asked for a 1% commission or a 2%, 1% commission. I don't think they want to pay commission at all. They asked if I could help for a fixed price. Again, Brittany, I've had that asked of me also. What if they just give me $1,000 just to put on the MLS and just let it go with that? And there was a time when I would have said yes, but after experiencing that for the first year or so, off and on, I finally decided to not give in. And I would say, with all due respect, $1,000 doesn't cover all of the money I've spent so far just being able to have you on a phone call with me. That's what I would say. I would say, really, if you look at what I spent on board dues and MLS fees and my licensing classes, getting the paying for the license itself, taking the exam, all of that took probably over $1,000, and that doesn't even pay for me to have a license. And that's what I would say to them. But really, the one that really, worked really well was the one what I'd say, if you're willing to pass the hat, and I'll do my part. If you get 5 other people that can kick in 1%, I'll kick in 1%, and they never did. So, in any case, Elisa says the answer is no. Lisa's a veteran too. Let's see. This is Julie. Oh, thanks, Julie. Julie's kicking in too. Brittany, set up the listing appointment. Prove your value, show examples of houses that sold on the MLS and similar houses that sold FSBO, and compare the amount they sell for. That's another really good one. Thanks, Julie. So Brittany, there are statistics that compare for sale by owner results with results of houses that have sold with realtors. And you can just Google that. You can Google, average difference between FSBO and sale with realtor, something like that, and you'll get some pretty startling statistics. And the cool thing is about using data and statistics, guys, is people can argue with other people, but they can't argue with data because data can't talk. It's just data. It's what it is. And for the most part, people take it at face value. That's the real gospel truth. So in any case, continuing with what Julie was saying, compare what they sell for using FSBO versus using a realtor. You can also offer variable commission. If you find the buyer or buyer as a result of the MLS, your commission is X. If they find the buyer, then is a couple less than X. So now I have done that. If it's a type of market that I feel like I've got a higher probability of finding the buyer, I would do that. I would say, look, Mr. Seller, I'd like to list this for 6%, and here's why. I have to share that with the other agent. Then out of my half, I have to give part to the broker, and what's left, I've got to pay all my dues and fees and my taxes and the cost of marketing the property. At the end of the day, there's just not a lot left there. However, I'm willing to do this because I'm really good and I know how to find the buyers. I'm willing to take a half off of the buyer side. So instead of it being a total of 6%, it'll be a total of 4.5%. Excuse me. Or I would say this. If I find the buyer and the buyer has a house they have to sell to buy your house, and I get that full listing, then I will reduce the buyer side. So I've done that before too, because I know I'm going to get 2 listings out of it and potentially another buyer. So let me just do a quick pause here. Everybody okay with that? What I just said there? Or let me put it this way. If you have questions or want clarity, just please unmute yourself or raise your hand and let me know, and I'll bring you up here. So, if anyone does have a suggestion, particularly if you've been down this road before, so Julie, if you would mind unmute yourself, I'm curious to see what if it sounds like you've had these before, Julie. Would you mind sharing just an example, Julie Schultz?
Hello.
Hey there.
Hi. Yeah, so I have had a couple, I was doing a campaign a few years ago.
Can you hear me?
Yep. I'm sorry, who was that?
I'm asking because I can't hear a word you're saying anymore. It went blank.
Oh, can you hear Julie?
I don't know if anybody else is having the same difficulty or not.
I think it's just you, Kathy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Hey, Rob, send Kathy a message if you wouldn't mind, a text message. Okay. All right, go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, so a few years ago, I was doing a campaign for FSBOs, and I honestly, I never got anyone to bite at that time. But it was compelling information for them. And, they ended up learning the hard way, their house sold for, they sold their house for sale by owner, but they sold it for significantly less than it would have sold on the MLS. And so one of them I had a conversation with after the fact, and like, yeah, I wish I would have listed it with you because I would have made more money, even with the commission.
Yeah. There's you'll get all types out there. So, all right, let's do this. Let's talk about actually getting the listing. So I want you to just if you can imagine this in your mind. I don't have a graphic of this to show you, but who here remembers a guy named Frank McKinney? He endorsed the book that we wrote last year with the team. He was what we call the primary endorser. He's the guy that builds those, $50 million mansions on the oceanfront in Florida. And he used to flip homes. Well, he technically flips now, but he raises the old property and builds a brand new $50 million mansion on them. In any case, I was having dinner with him one night, and sorry, real quick side note: we are giving money from the Healing House Foundation. From the sale of the books for the last year, we're splitting that with Frank. His foundation is I can't think of what it's called now. It's in Haiti. Hope Lives. I think it's called Hope Lives. And he builds little houses for people in Haiti. And I paid for one. So that's how I got to know him. I made a donation several years ago and got to go stay at his place in Florida and had dinner with him and some other pretty awesome people. But he showed us this. We were talking about marketing. I'm like, Frank, how do you do this on the scale you're doing it? I mean, I was at the time, it was right before I launched my brokerage. I was doing pretty good in the business, but I wasn't doing anything like what he was doing. So here's what he did. He drew a series of circles on a whiteboard. Okay. In other words, it was like 4 or 5 centrifugal circles, the inner circle, next outer circle, and so forth. Okay. So any case, if you think about the inner circle, now this is in terms of marketing, this is not your database. I've used that analogy of centrifugal circles when it comes to your database and how you categorize your contacts. Okay. We're using the same analogy in terms of marketing efforts. Okay. So the innermost circle, the type of marketing you're doing is actually direct outreach to your contacts. That means literally picking up the phone and calling them. Excuse me. I'm not saying a text won't work or a direct, Facebook message, Instagram message, or what have you. Those things could work, but I consider direct conversation either live in person or over the phone, or on Zoom, or FaceTime or Google Meet. Anything that's direct communication is what I'm talking about in circle one. All right. And when you have a market where it's a seller's market, that means buyers are still having to compete with each other and make multiple offers and outbid each other and so forth. And sellers are still, for the most part, in control of the market. You have to resort to circle one type activities to get the business. It's just the way it is. And those who know it, embrace it, and do it are always the ones who come out ahead. It doesn't matter if you're a brand new agent or a veteran, but the decision you make is, when are you going to actually do it? It's not a matter of if, it's when, because eventually you will do it. I'm telling you, every veteran eventually comes to that conclusion. So if you're pretty new, I would say learn from the experience, learn from not just my experience, but everybody on the team. They'll tell you when it's like this, you got to pick up the phone and start calling people, right? In fact, I know brand new agents who already are doing that and they're getting business. So you want to pick up the phone and call people. That's the innermost circle, okay? Now, the next layer of marketing outside of that is texting, Facebook messaging, Instagram, LinkedIn, those types of communication are technically direct, but they're really not live. They're one layer of interfacing from away from each other, right? So now they'll work. And the reason I like texting, for example, is because I can communicate with somebody quickly, just ask a quick question, right? Make an appointment, something like that. That's okay to do that. But also I can convey marketing material. I can send them an example of a property that just sold in their neighborhood. Everybody see what I'm doing here? If I know I'm in a neighborhood working and a house just sold, I know a lot of agents will send postcards out. That's what they call circle prospecting. You send postcards to all the houses around the house that sold, but it's still very passive. Because let's face it, what happens to most postcards that we get that are mailed that are basically marketing postcards? Where do they end up? Don't be shy. We all get postcards every day. Where are we generally in the garbage? Absolutely. One of the biggest wastes of money I've ever seen. But if I text somebody, if I have their phone number, and I get that through the marketing, eventually, if you do enough circle prospecting the way we teach it, you'll have contact information. If I don't have a phone number, I'm going to email it to them. If they're on Facebook, I'm going to Facebook message it to them. I'm going to send them the actual sale. And I'll say, hey, I just want to show you this, just sold right down the street. What questions do you have? You want to take a look at this or something like it? And I'll always ask them a question. Typically, if I can ask an open-ended question, that's even better. But don't make it too lengthy because it's a text. You just want to be quick and easy, Did you know that you can participate in class every Monday? We call it Monday Night Live, 7 p.m. Eastern, with me and dozens of other investor agents from around the country, in fact, the world. Every Monday, totally free. No selling, no recruiting, just straight up education on anything and everything in real estate. And we have a lot of good guests coming on once or twice a month, bringing in expertise on subjects like how to buy a house with crypto. Okay, how about them apples? What about AI? How's AI affecting our business? How about the metaverse, blockchain processing? We're already using it in title work. So come on to Monday Night Live. Be ready to take notes and ask questions because it's live and engaging, and you get to participate by asking questions and meeting others. So we'll see you there. Go to realestateWithGaryWilson.com, click on the resource tab, drop down, and you'll see Monday Night Live. And in there, you can see one of the most recent classes. But more importantly, you can register for class as many as you want going up to like the end of the year, I believe. So in any case, do that. We'll see you on Monday Night Live. Look forward to meeting you in person. Take care. In any case, when you ask yes or no questions, you got a 50% chance of getting a yes answer. Right? So I don't like those odds. I want to get an answer no matter. I don't like to ask yes or no questions. I like to ask open-ended questions, and those open-ended questions always start with who, what, where, when, how. Okay. And I could say something like this is, this house is just like your house, or it's got one more bedroom, or it's got a finished basement. When you look at this house, what do you think your house would sell for? Or what do you think your house should sell for? Or what would you like your house to sell for? Seeing this one, it just sold down the street. Little things like that make a big difference. You'll almost always get a response to that kind of question. Okay. So in any case, that's the second layer of communication. The third layer is really more like you're sending out direct mail, like letters, postcards counts in that category too, by the way. As long as they're directed, they're targeted. Anything that's broadcast marketing, you're just sending something out to the world to, like, for example, sending out 7,000 postcards. I would never do that, but that's considered fourth level marketing, the outermost layer. That's the universe. Okay. Putting something blindly on Facebook without targeting it, on Facebook, you can target market anything that goes out to the public. That's considered fourth level or the outer layer marketing. The third level is still using Facebook, right? But you're targeting it. You're selecting an audience geographically or demographically, sociographically, or two or more of those combinations. In other words, could be where they live, what neighborhood, right? The zip code, perhaps. Could be, are they subscribing to Success Magazine? Do they, you can base it on, are they members of or followers of similar Facebook pages, things like that. There's all kinds of things you can do with Facebook, excuse me, to target. So that's, it's still targeted, but it's not person specific. And again, the fourth level is going out to the public with it's very little targeting. You're just putting out a big, broad message out there, right? So in any case, Now, here's the key. Just because right now it's a really good idea to spend more of your time in level 1, which is direct contact, it doesn't mean that you can't do level 2, 3, or 4. You still need to do that marketing, guys. You still have to get out booklets. You still have to send letters out. You still have to do market reports, things like that, to maintain front of mind presence. Partly because when you do call them, eventually you'll call your category 2 clients. Category 1 is the people you know the best. Category 2 being the people you know, but you might not invite them to the neighborhood party next weekend. You still need to call those folks, right, with some regularity, not as much as the category 1 clients. By the way, let me just distinguish for the new folks here. When I talk about category, what I'm talking about is the consumers themselves. Category 1 being the people you know the best, followed by category 2 and category 3, which is the people you really probably don't know. So in any case, in order to bring more people in from category 3 to category 2, or category 1 to category 2 to category 1, you have to still do, email marketing, Facebook marketing, texting, and so forth. Okay. So in any case, I just did a lot of talking there, probably way more than I should do at any one time, but let's have some questions, guys. This is the time to ask questions. We have class like this. 27 people. You can have a lot of floor time tonight. Okay. So don't be shy. And if you have something to add, like something you've done before along these lines, marketing wise, please speak up. I'm going to get a quick drink of water here. Hang on one second. By the way, we do have, looks like, some guests here, and we do have some brand new agents. So let's see, where is Hannah? I just saw Hannah up here a second ago. There she is. Hi, Hannah. How are you? Everybody say hi, Hannah, and welcome aboard, Hannah.
Oh, hey, you guys.
Aboard, Hannah.
Hey, how are you guys?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So we'll get you up and running here quickly. And I know, do we have another one-on-one set up? I can't remember.
Oh, this week?
This week or next week? I can't remember if we have one set up.
I haven't yet, but I do need to schedule a call with you.
Okay. All right, good. We'll do that. And I'll show you some of these things I'm talking about, guys, especially for the new folks. When we have the one-on-ones is when we really flesh it out in great detail. Sometimes we do a working session here and we will go into great detail as a group. I was going to do that tonight because I want to have time to go over some scripts and some role playing. Let's see here. Let me go back to the chat.
I wanted to just, regarding the sell by owners, some different techniques that I've used to just kind of throw out there. What really worked well for me, as you well know, all of us that have been in for a long time, we get in and out of certain forms of, getting business. And so for sell by owners, as well as
Shastine, you're starting to fade a little bit. I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's my earpiece. I have these new little fancy earbuds, and I don't know how fancy they are if you can't hear me. Can you hear me better now?
I think it's good enough. Yeah, I think it's good enough.
Okay. So yeah, I wanted to tell you guys that for sell by owners, what's really good is if you just get a normal binder, you physically go up to the door because that's where the best rapport is going to be made. It's a face-to-face with a smile. But you just go up to the door, you just knock on the door, step back 2 steps, you look and you smile and you say, hey, I'm a local real estate agent. Don't worry. I'm not like, probably the 10 other agents that have been knocking at the door promising, that they can sell your house for 30 days or less or whatever. I'm actually here because it's my job to know what's both in the market and what's in the open market. And your property is not listed in the open market, but yet it's in the market. So I'd like to be able to set a time. Right now might not be it, but I'd like to be able to set a time for your property because I am working with several buyers, and your property might be a property for them. So it's now a good time, or tomorrow or this weekend or whatever. Usually the weekends are the best time to go and knock on the doors, and then you can show them in the binder, like if you pull the for sale by owners through different third parties or through Zillow, they do the for sale by owners in there. You can show them like all the properties that you're legitimately going to view, because if you guys do have any internet needs, or you are doing Facebook ads, you're going to have buyers in your website. So you're not lying, you're doing something that's unethical. You do have a buyer that property may actually work for. But one step in is after, one step further, should I say, is after you get into the home. What I added to that is I added a 1-800 number for sell by owner number, in which I had a lender go in on with me. And it was a number isolated solely for that for sell by owners. It helps them so that, if people were calling, they could have a pre-recorded message on it. The lender would then call and make sure that they're pre-qualified. So it was a plus for that lender because they could maybe get the buyer, but more importantly, I let them know you don't know who's stepping in your door. And as having, with an agent and that representation, you have that security because anybody that comes in your home has to be pre-approved, which means they have to turn in their driver's license and their social security numbers, and they're not, somebody that can actually bring danger to your family. And so, and it was just a very casual conversation, but I let them know that I do that. And they would say, well, why are you doing it? And I would let them know, listen, you only need one buyer for your home. However, there might be several buyers that are looking at your home. And so I'm always looking to build my portfolio of clients so that I can either help my current listing with buyers that are coming into my sphere or through different conversations, or, I can obviously, just get a new buyer in general. And so usually when it benefited them, I tied in a lender. That lender could then call those buyers, because rightly they would, as well as myself, if it was like a buyer that was legitimately buying an agent. And then that allowed me to do, I don't know if you guys, they date me, but the SMART program with Floyd Wickman, he was phenomenal. But, he thought regarding doing for sell by owners, he thought, on always doing exercise with those that you're gaining rapport. He called it the physical monopoly game, on how many times you need to go and send them something and tell you to help them through the process. And so, and by building that, there's that law of reciprocity. If they don't get it sold, or just also you're just dropping different hints that they may need to think about, if they're looking to sell it on their own. And, so that was just always a positive, a different strategy to then go and actually knock on the door. Because then you kind of have something as a legitimate agent that is looking to actually find sellers for their buyers, because inventory, I don't know about you guys, but most of our inventory is low. So we don't have a lot of inventory. And so it's just, it's one of those pluses and ones for even our, even more today than it was back in the seller's market.
Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting is you made me think of something else. This one I've used with investors is when they would want me to like not put it on the MLS, for example, or anything like that. I would say, the challenge is you're asking me to find you a buyer without using my number one tool that I've spent, a lot of time, energy, and money, purchasing, learning, using, and having the license to be able to use it. It's the best way to reach the most people. The MLS doesn't get it out to all the consumers. It gets it out to all the brokerages whose agents, through their searches set up for their clients, it's how their clients get to see your property. So it's, you're not just getting me finding the people I know manually, you're getting all 10,000 agents in your area reaching out automatically to all of their prospects looking for properties just like yours. Now, which is better? Having little old Gary Wilson just reach out to the 1,000 people that he knows, or having all 10,000 agents reaching out to all the thousands of people that they all know? Which one's most likely to bring you the most interested people? Well, of course, the latter. And which one's most likely to bring you multiple offers? Of course, it's using our number one system, the MLS. And what happens when you get multiple offers? What happens in an auction when people all want the same painting? What happens? Well, it drives up the price. People outbid each other. Is it in your best interest to get the most price possible? And then, when I get them to see logic, sometimes they'll still hesitate, and I'll say, here's the worst part though. I'll say, investors who are buyers, buying investor properties, they're looking at your property, and if it's not out there in the public, it's just me reaching out to people directly, they know they got you over a barrel. They can make an offer with confidence. There's likely going to be other offers, and they can negotiate with you till the cows come home and wear you down. Would you rather have that scenario or a scenario where people are falling all over themselves to get to your property? I haven't used that with traditional consumers, but I imagine sometimes that might work with the right personality. By the way, Shastine, thanks for sharing that. I think we may have just lost Shastine. Hopefully, there you are. You're still there. Sorry. So Shastine, one thing I wanted to clarify, because you were kind of going in and out there. With a FSBO, something we used to do is we would actually help them sell, not by getting directly involved, because there's rules about that stuff, but giving them examples of our marketing. We would give them like a box or a folder, take it to the house and say, look, I do have to tell you I'm a realtor, but I'm not here to convince you to use me to sell your house. I just want to give you marketing material that we use to sell houses for other people, just like you or in your neighborhood. Here's what's been working. Would you like to use some of this? So Shastine, were you doing something like that upon like initial contact or like a follow-up contact when you give them material that they can use without anything and asking anything in return?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. So the first thing, the number one thing that I went in with was that 1-800 number. So I actually gave them a for sale by owner sign that had a 1-800 number that was directly tied to them, and it was very inexpensive. And like I said, the lender went in on it. But then, yes, Floyd always taught that you go back with those items of value. You go back with, hey, do you know how to post a Craigslist ad? Here's a how-to for it. Oh, here's a little Canva link that I can send you if you'd like to create your own flyer from. So different things like that, where you're just trying to go and with more of the simplistic things.
Yep.
And then you might want to spin off and every now and then, well, hey, do you know how to do a Facebook ad and how to funnel it and target market at, and build a target audience? And then say no, and then you say no, just say, oh, okay, well, I've been doing this for a very long time. And it's just a strategy that I use to sell homes for those who choose me to list their home. But, there, you could probably, go on YouTube and it could probably show you how to do just a general, social media ad. And, you might get a few extra looks like that. It's just a few little drop-in little hints, like, I know what I'm doing and I know how it's going to fit, but I'm going to give you, the kindergarten version, so that was just the little subtleties. But then when you go in, it's always going back with, hey, how did you come up with that price? At some point in time, you're going to need to defend that price, whether with the buyer, the agent, or with the appraiser. It's probably a good idea to get a professional like me to at least kind of maybe, go over the numbers with you. And if it's true that maybe I can net you more money than what you have it listed at, would there be any reason why you wouldn't list with me? And, so it's the dialogue that you have when you're in the home, just touring the home. And you really want to keep it, you don't want to hammer when you're not there to, because again, it's if you come from contribution and yet you show your knowledge just through a casual conversation, then they're going to gravitate to you better than maybe others that are going to know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And the other thing too is you can do it with confidence, Shastine, and well, everyone here. You can do what Shastine's describing, what I was describing, because we know statistically 2/3 of the time, historically speaking, FSBOs won't sell on their own. They just won't. So that means 2/3 of the time they're going to eventually go to a realtor. And if you're the one who's already been helping them and showing them, demonstrating your expertise and the fact that you really do want to help them, right, with no strings attached, you're probably the one they're going to call. That's just a fact of nature. It's a mathematical certainty, So keep that in mind. It's there's a lot to be said by starting with giving. And even though they've told us by the virtue of the fact that they're a FSBO that they don't want to work with us, when you go and you help them and you win them over, I mean, that's how you earn the know you, like you, trust you, right? Remember the old saying, people, they only will care what you know when they know you care, right? Show them you care first. It's a little bit of a leap of faith, especially if you're relatively new. And we have all the material between the team and what EXP offers you can always come up with stuff to give them. And if you're really uncertain, just use Chat GPT and say, Chat GPT, give me marketing material that I can give to a for sale by owner. You know, I mean, you want to be more descriptive than that, but right now, guys, AI is like, it's really saving a lot of people's bacon. I mean, I just spoke to Bonetta earlier. I don't think she's on, but I'm going to go ahead and tell this to you. So where she lives is in Northern Virginia. She noticed, like we've all noticed in the last several years, there's a lot more neighborhood level senior, retirement homes, senior living places popping up. They're in homes. They're in people's homes, in neighborhoods. They're not like the big institutional buildings that we always used to see. Now that's in people's neighborhoods. So she did a Chat GPT to come up with a listing presentation for nursing home owners, small nursing home owners. And I would write this down, guys. She sent out 13. She got 3 listing appointments, and one of them has already pretty much decided they're going to go with her. And guess how much that cost her? How much does Chat GPT cost? Does anybody know?
Nothing.
It's very,
Zero. Zero. If you go to the website, let me do a share. I finally got it up, Rob. Thanks for
sure.
yours. Yeah. So that's a script. So I'll come back to this in a second. So for those of you who haven't seen this is fairly new. We just added a whole section on AI tools. Okay. AI tools are 10 tools you can use to use AI for different purposes, creating, videos, modifying pictures, things like that. The Chat GPT resources, these are your actual prompts. Okay. So there's 10 of them here. And you can just click on these downloads and get the actual prompt to give to Chat GPT. Okay. So, really, really, really important stuff. And I'm going to give you one that I gave to Bonetta earlier. I don't have it written down. It's going to be recorded, so you get the recording tomorrow. But I want you to take notes on this, okay? So let me go back. Let me keep this up for a second. I just want to see. I'm going to stop share for just a second. Okay. So this is a great way to come up with a listing promotion, a promotion or an ad to get listings. If you want to do it on like Facebook, for example, okay? Here's the actual command you want to give ChatGPT. It has to be very detailed and very thorough. So I would say something like this. ChatGPT, I'm a real estate agent in Kannapolis, North Carolina. There are other real estate agents in Kannapolis, and there are homes that have sold in Kannapolis in the last 12 months. Would you please look on Facebook and look at all of the ads that have been posted on Facebook to sell houses in Kannapolis, North Carolina, and take the top 10 posts that have the greatest level of engagement being, sharing, liking, commenting, okay? Take the top 10 posts for the houses that have sold between, and you name the price, between 300, 400,000, for example, okay? Or if you want to, a style of house, 4-bedroom colonial, 3-bedroom ranch, whatever the most typical house for your area, okay? And create an ad for me using the best material from those top 10 ads for those houses just previously described. And ChatGPT will give you an ad that you can post on Facebook that uses proven techniques already on Facebook that have been used to sell houses. Okay. You can use that anywhere. You can, Bonetta's in Northern Virginia. If you're in Charlottesville, if you're in Oregon, at Seattle, you can use that anywhere. Okay. I don't have the actual ad that what's his name? Phil Stringer. Phil Stringer is the person we learned ChatGPT from. he asked for a listing presentation using the same type of logic I just provided, but he said he wanted to take the top 10 listing presentations and get the best listing presentation from that material. But in this case, we're trying to get the attention of people who may be interested in selling. And on Facebook, it's really easy to do that because you can target your post to just people in your area. Okay. You can select your state, you can select your town, you can select your county. I think you can even select zip code. So you narrow it down, target it down, and the only people in that area will see the post. Okay. Just as a side note, by the way, you can use, I believe, still use Facebook Marketplace to sell houses, but that's only after you've got the listing. Any questions on what I just gave you there for Chat GPT? What do you actually speak to it to get that post that you want to post on Facebook? You guys okay? You're being awfully quiet.
Yeah, Shastine had asked if you would have Beverly send us that, or at least the gist of it.
The what I just spoke,
Yeah.
the Chat GPT. What we'll do is Beverly, if you want to have Sugar grab that and what's the word when you take a vocal recording and you make a written version of it? I just using transcribing. Thank you. So anything beyond 2 syllables tonight, I'm not able to say because my brain's.
And you ask what's wrong with us.
Good one. Touche. So there's a couple ideas there, guys. By the way, FSBOs, if you're wondering how do you find the FSBOs, there's actually a website called forSaleByOwner.com. Okay. You can go on there and then you can see the FSBOs. You can also go to your local Penny Saver or Green Sheet, any local really cheap publication. There's some water. And you just go to the property, or if they give the address, or reach out to them.
Yeah, you can also go to Craigslist. You can look, you can even go to Facebook. Some people will have it on there. Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace, yep.
You can just get on your Google and go, for sale by owner at FSBOs near me.
Yep, there you go. Or you could even ask ChatGPT.
Yep.
So ChatGPT, please find me all the homes for sale by owner in your area, whatever that area is. Okay. So, in any case, wanted to give you that little heads up on ChatGPT and which what Bonetta had told me the results were. I was floored. I mean, that's pretty awesome stuff. There was something else she told me too. I'll have her bring it up next week. Hopefully she'll be on next week. One of the nursing homes, they gave a rebuttal there, or the basically objection was, well, there's a lot of real estate agents out there, and we already have contact with some agents that, they're family members or they're related to some of our employees or some of our clients. Say, hey, you should use my agent. Just sold my house before I got into the nursing home here. Share that information with any other senior trying to get into the nursing home here, given my agent's information. And Chastine fired back. She said, you can have any old agent out there. There's a whole bunch of them, but none of them are like me. There's not a single agent out there that's going to work as hard as I'm going to work on a property that I already know a lot about. I've done my research. I know your property, and I know how to sell these types of properties because that's what I do. That's my specialty. And she said, you know how most agents have on their business cards, I specialize in, and they named 10 different things, first-time home buyers, vacation home buyers, flippers, landlords, move uppers, move downers. She said, that's not specializing. She said, you look at my business card, I specialize in investment real estate. That's why you want to use me. And the person on the other end said, well, can you come in here right now? Can you come in this afternoon? Because we do need to talk about this. How about them apples? So did she speak with confidence? Absolutely. And can you do that sometimes when you're starting out? I'd say you probably can. If you think it and believe it and speak it to yourself first, there's no telling what you can accomplish when you're out there in the world in front of other people. So any case, let me look at my notes here, guys, real quick. We're past the hour. If you do need to go, I understand. I'll stay on another 24 minutes for anybody that has any Q&A. I got an instruction to follow. Hang on one second, guys. Speaking of Facebook marketing, the operations team told me I need to do a selfie with me and all you guys here too. Oops, that's not what I want. I want to do this way. Here we go. Okay, everybody smile. All right, let's see how that turns out. That's my marketing for tonight. Okay, so did a selfie. We talked about Gina and Hoodle.
Better do another one. I wasn't in that.
What's that?
Were you doing the whole thing?
I was just trying to take a selfie with me. I wasn't quite selfie. I had to turn the camera around.
With anybody in the background?
I should have been in the background. Yes, at least part of my face. Yep. So, in any case, I want to leave you guys with something here, and we'll move into some Q&A. When in doubt, if sometimes you're like, I don't even know what to do. There's so much I need to do. I don't even know where to start. One of the easiest things to do is on KV Core is to do a simple market update. It's a monthly that goes out to your database. You can select your entire database, and KV Core interfaces with your MLS. Okay, so when you select market update, it grabs the data for you. Okay, your KV Core grabs it from your MLS, creates a nice professional looking market update, and it goes out to your database, and you can select monthly, and it's all automated. If you do nothing else, if you only do one thing tomorrow because you didn't do one thing today, do that one thing tomorrow. Set that market update up for your database on KV Core, and make sure they at least hear from you once a month with a basic market update. It's not the only thing, and it's not everything, but it's one thing. Okay, and it maintains front of mind presence. Hey, does anybody do market update today? Does anybody use that feature in KV Core? You use it, Kay? Hey, Kay, you're muted.
I haven't done it through KV Core. I usually get it from MLS and then I send it to my VA and have her get it out.
Okay.
But I haven't tried the KV Core. I really need to do that. That's a good idea.
You can automate it. That's the thing. You can automate it, and then and have your by the way, hey, was that you had a question on listing, working on a listing for someone who's deceased?
Yes. I started to write up this listing and she said, just write it up, the estate of such and such and so and so. And then I got to looking at the address and all that stuff. And I thought, well, he's dead. What address do I?
Yeah. What you can do is, do you know how to go into your county records, your county court records?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, one thing you could do is you could Google the person's name. All right. And you'll likely get, probably the obituary a couple different times. But sometimes you'll get another piece of information, like from the county. Some counties, all of the courts are on the same website as the assessor's database and zoning and all that kind of stuff, all in the same place. The bigger areas, generally, they separate them out. But often you can go in there and there's a consumer portal, and you can search by address or search by name. And what you're looking for is to see if that property is in probate, right? Now, if it's in probate, technically it's public information. What you're looking for is to see if, go ahead, Kate. Yeah.
I've got all that information.
Oh, okay.
And I'm actually talking to the executor of the estate. This is that zombie house that we talked about.
Yep.
But I just wasn't sure how to write up the listing contract.
Oh, well, the executor should have asked the, did they have an attorney named for this one?
She's got a probate attorney. So should I put that as the attorney and put that information in?
No, what you want to do is ask her if she can find out from the attorney if she has the power of attorney. See, in real estate, it's called a durable power of attorney. But in real estate, it's only good for one transaction. It's not like other powers of attorney. Like if you're a power of attorney for an ill relative, you can either be property, like a property guardian or a personal guardian. And you can make all decisions related to the person or all decisions related to the property. But with real estate, the actual property itself, the courts only allow a power of attorney to be one time only for that one property. So we need to find out if that executor has that from the probate attorney. If he or she does, that's who you use. If
Okay.
he or she doesn't, the attorneys, I wouldn't have the attorney be the person to contact, because they'll charge the consumer every single time somebody reaches out to them. But if she doesn't have it, she needs to get that, because she's going to have to sign eventually if she doesn't already have it.
Yeah.
And that's who you use. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then, so I would use her address and her information.
Yeah. If that's required.
Not the house where the deceased person lived.
Well, in the marketing, you want to advertise that property, the subject property.
Mhm.
But if there's something for legal purposes, like on a listing agreement, you would name the executor. You would actually put in there her name, comma, executive for, and name the person's name with the word estate. Usually the probate attorney will tell you exactly what to say, but generally you would say for the signer, you would put the signer's name, comma, executive for the estate of, and then the deceased person's name.
Okay.
But double check, because in every state could be slightly different, but that's generally what you do there. And then
Okay.
then on the listing agreement, not the subject property, but if it's her mailing address is required, then you would use his or her personal mailing address.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought I knew what I was doing, and then I got into it and I got to thinking about it, and I thought, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah. No, you're doing great. So
Does that have to clear probate first?
What?
Would that have to clear probate first?
Well, what happens in probate, they have a obligation to try to find any and all heirs and debt and creditors and anybody that could have a claim on the property. And if they haven't satisfied that, they can't allow property to close. But you can actually, my understanding is, Rob, you still can go ahead and get the thing listed and get it out there for sale and get it on a contract. You just can't close it till the probate judge says, yes, I'm satisfied that all efforts have been made to locate all heirs and creditors,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
This, I think, has cleared probate, but
okay, that's good.
the problem is that the parents evidently had a reverse mortgage, and we can't find any information on the reverse mortgage. And it's been bought and sold and bought and sold, and there's a very clear trail. And the last bank that had it was Wells Fargo, and they sold it to HUD. And I called the HUD loan servicer company, and they told me who to call at HUD. And then I called the lady at HUD, and she said they have no record of it.
Well, go ahead and put this. I just started a new bank earlier today. Just put Bank of Gary Wilson
Okay.
on there. No, just kidding. I don't do that.
So the only way we figured we could get to the bottom of it is try and sell it and let title dig into it and see what they come up with. Because according to HUD, there's no number, there's no address, there's no name. It hasn't been assigned to anybody. It doesn't exist in their system.
Yeah. So what will likely happen is the closing company who's going to do the closing, they'll do the chain of title, figure all that out. They'll go to Wells Fargo and ask for them to prove in writing that they did turn that over. And if they can do that, then they'll go to HUD. And HUD will have to write a letter of indemnification. They probably won't do that, because if HUD gets asked that question, you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to figure it out. They're going to find it out. And then they'll do the work, So, because if they sign that letter of indemnification, what that means is the American people, you and I, we get cheated out of some dollars, right? That's our, for all intents and purposes, from what you just told me, ultimately that property should go to HUD, and HUD should sell it through their portal. and some agent will get the listing out of that. That's a real possibility based on what you told me, So because the only reason they would give it to HUD is that they just gave up. They can't collect on it. The mortgage is in default, and Wells Fargo just throws their hands up and says, we give up, So, yeah, that's a good one, though. That's one of those rare birds. We rarely get one of those, Kay, So,
I get all the complicated ones.
you do. I don't know what it is about it, but you just attract all the crazy deals,
All the nuts and crazy things.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Let me look at the chat box here. Yeah, will Beverly send that? Yeah, we'll do that. Chestine, Brittany's saying I joined a bunch of Facebook groups for real estate. That's good. Good job, Brittany. There is a lot to learn. And Brittany, keep setting up strategy calls. Anybody who's new, keep setting up strategy calls. Okay. Yeah, it's like drinking water from a fire. But Brittany, you're doing pretty awesome. We're just starting out, guys. Brittany is brand new and already has her first deal. Isn't that amazing?
That's great.
Yep. Because she reaches out to people. She calls, and same with Giselle. Giselle, you're on. Giselle, go ahead and unmute yourself if you don't mind. Because if you're still there,
yes, I'm here.
I want you to just mention everybody. I think you did this last week too, or maybe the week before.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you are actively participating in a local investors group, and you make it a habit of meeting people, right, and then setting up appointments. Would you mind elaborating on that just a wee little bit?
Yes. Can you guys hear me all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So what I did is I started going very frequently. It was about 1 to 3 times a week to my local investor meetups, all kinds of different meetups. And then I just connected with people during the networking part, got their business cards. And then with some of them, I would call them, follow up via phone. Some of them we would do Zoom meetings. I've met with some in person, but mostly on the phone and Zoom, I would say. And then out of that, just working those relationships, adding people on social media was big as well. And then just following up with them. And from there, I have several potential buyers I'm working with, just from there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it took, at first it was like, it took a lot of networking time. And once I went through that for a few months, I think I did it very consistently for about 4 to 5 months before getting my license. And now I don't have to go so much anymore because I have a big network now. And I will still go now once a month. I think it's still important to show your face because then you see the same people all the time at the meetings.
Yeah. And you've only been doing that. Did you start doing that back in January?
Yes.
Yeah. Sarah's
every month till around April. And then I got my license. And so it got a bit more hectic then. So I stopped, but then I was working the relationships I built during those times. And that takes time every week, talking to people. Mm-hmm.
But what's amazing. So let's go back to the beginning of class tonight. So the type of marketing that Giselle was doing, guys, remember there was 4 different layers. Layer 1. Remember what was layer 1 or as far as reaching out to people? What type of activity would you say? Yeah. Giselle was doing level 1. She was doing level 1 marketing, direct contact with people, as well as setting up appointments. I mean, for a brand new agent, and I didn't teach her that part. She did that on her own, but level 1 right out of the gate, and out of that level 1 marketing, when it comes to the category of prospects, what category did she create? What category prospect is she building up as a result of that effort? Category 1, 2, or 3? Category 1. Yep. That's the key. And Frank McKinney said it perfectly. He said, of all the things you do, they're all important. You can't survive without doing, at least 3 levels of marketing, and you can't survive without doing, 3 levels of communication. But the most important at the end of the day is level 1 and level 1 marketing and category 1 contact, right? That's where you make that's the majority of your money is going to be made because you're engaged in level one marketing with category one prospects. That's where the majority of money is going to be made. If you're brand new, you have to do level 2 and 3 continually, because if you don't, you're gonna porpoise. You're gonna find your transaction volume going up and down. To keep it consistent, you got to keep the marketing going to build your level one prospects, category one prospects. Guys, any questions on that? What I just described there? I know I'm getting a little bit tired. My voice is starting to slur, but I just want to make sure that point, man, if I can get inside your heads and in the morning wake up with you and say, today you're going to do level one marketing, you're going to call people, you're going to reach out to people directly, Zoom, Google Meet, FaceTime, whatever it is, with your category one people. I would do that every single morning with each of you. I would sit at your kitchen table, and you can make me breakfast if you want. I'll be happy about that. But that's what we would do, So, all right, who's with me on that? Yes, sir.
Can you have Beverly send out what those categories, what they mean?
Yeah, I think that's where do I have that? If I can't find it, we'll put it out there. Yep.
Okay.
So remember, you know what I'll do is I'll create something, a diagram for both is what I'll do, and we can put that in the marketing. Or Beverly, maybe we could have Ryan create that for the marketing, the 4 levels of marketing, and for the clients, the three categories of clients. If Ryan could create that, Bev, that would be awesome, and we could talk about it Thursday in the operating team meeting.
Yeah, sometimes we just need visual reminders.
Yeah, I agree. That kind of stuff, guys, I'd just print it off. I'd have a binder with me all the time to put that stuff in there with tabs on it. That way it's easy to, I love computers, believe me, but when you have a physical binder with you, and I would take it with me, that's how you remember all these things, So, yeah. But by the way, I would also want to recognize a couple of guests tonight. I forgot to do that. So we got Melody Mitchell on. Hey, Melody, how you doing? Melody's already with DXP. Are you in Andre's group, Melody? She may already be on her ice cream break. So, hey guys, that was it for tonight. We managed to finish before the 8:30 mark, which is rare because we've been going along a lot lately. I think 2 weeks ago we went 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
So, I know, it's crazy. Any final thoughts or questions, guys?
Woo-hoo. It was a good night.
Thank you. We appreciate you, Gary.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you guys. Can we do one last post for the how can you actually help out the folks in Maui? So Lisa posted something, and also Kay, I know you posted something too.
Yeah.
Would you guys each mind posting that? Everybody, if you want to copy it, and you can paste it in a separate browser or just email to yourself, that would be awesome. Let's see. If you're in Engage Group, by the way, if you are new, you definitely want to reach out to Rob. Rob put his Calendly link out there. I think Hannah's already logged off from that, but Brittany, Rob's been on vacation for 3 weeks. Well, not this past week, but the 3 prior weeks. So you might not have been able to engage with him much, but Rob's right down the road from you, actually. So Rob, Brittany's in the Richmond area. She's
I think we just had a discussion last week, didn't we, Brittany?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There's the HawaiiCommunityFoundation.org/Maui Strong. Okay. Well, listen, guys. Hope you have a wonderful night. Keep everybody in Maui in your prayers, and the families and friends of people in Maui. I mean, Lisa could have been there, but you were planning on going out. Was it 2 weeks down the road? Is that what it was, or
23rd.
Wow.
So yeah, and my daughter and I would have been right there in Lahaina. So I don't know if we would have been toast or if we would have been stranded. But what's going on right now, they can't even drink the water. And they said if you run your water in your house, you have to leave your windows open. It's so toxic. They can't drink it. They can't touch it. They can't breathe the fumes from it. It's just, not good.
Yeah, one of the complications with a place like Hawaii, guys, is it's a series of islands. It's not like when Katrina hit New Orleans, as bad as that was, those folks were able to be bused to places like Houston, to go to huge metrodomes, right? For emergency shelter. It's not like that in Maui. You can't just, there's no giant coliseum somewhere. You know, you've got to fly from island to island. It's different. It's a whole different dynamic. So in any case, you know, hopefully the people that have already been lost is it won't go any further than that. And the people that are still out there gradually will find homes and we'll get people settled. So, okay. No, there's no other evening session this week, guys. I'll see you next Monday. I actually can't remember what next Monday's subject is, but email tomorrow will have what next Monday's subject is. And as always, if you have something you want to discuss, a particular topic, marketing campaign, strategy, whatever it is, anything had to do with investing, how do you actually analyze or flip a rental? Please email me or text me and let me know so we can plan those in. Okay. All right. You guys all set?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome. Hey, have a wonderful night, guys. God bless you and your families. And I'll see you on your one-on-ones. There's still time slots open for Thursday and Friday this week. If you want to grab a spot, if not, set them up for next week. And I'll see you on next Monday Night Live.
Thank you, Gary.
Adios.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode of Monday Night Live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.